how to navigate construction blueprints. This is a beginner's guide that will show you how to read plans with confidence. Now, first thing I gotta say, I threw the word blueprints in my presentation here, but that's just, so people won't get confused. But blueprints is actually not the right term to use anymore for construction drawings. What we mean are construction plans that show how to build a building. Back in the day, blueprints was the term used because they actually had blue paper and they would print the lines in white. And that's why they were called blueprints. So that's no longer relevant, but a lot of people still use the term. So for the sake of this, I decided to say blueprints. All right, so let's start with the basics. When you're looking at a set of blueprints, you're not just looking at lines and boxes. You're looking at the story of a building. These plans show architects and engineers how to communicate with the builder. It's how we know where to put walls, doors, electrical outlets, and even what type of floors go where. If you're in construction, whether in the field or in the office, being able to read these plans is key to doing your job right. So let's explore some blueprint basics. Now I broke this down into 6 types of views that you'll see on any drawing when you're flipping through them. And so let's go through each one. The most typical view that you'll see is called the plan view. A plan view is a horizontal slice through the building, typically seen from above, like you're looking down on the floor with the roof removed. And it shows walls, doors, windows, and room layouts at a specific floor level. Then next we have an elevation. An elevation is a straight-on view of a vertical surface, such as the front or the side of a building, and it illustrates the height, material, and exterior appearance of walls and facades. A building section cuts vertically through the structure to reveal what's inside the walls, floors, and ceilings, and it helps you understand how different levels and components connect from the top to the bottom. A detail is a close-up drawing of a specific part of the building, like a window frame, a wall joint, or a slab edge, and it shows exact construction methods, materials, and dimensions that aren't visible in a larger set of drawings. The schedules are organized tables that list specific items in the project, such as doors, windows, or room finishes. A finish schedule may list the flooring, wall colors for each room, while a door schedule gives the size, type, and hardware requirements for each door. Now, schematics are simplified diagrams used in electrical, plumbing, or mechanical drawings to show how systems are connected. They focus on the flow and relationship of components rather than the exact physical placement. So a blueprint is made up of different types of drawings. You've got your floor plan, that's your overhead view, like you're looking down over a building from a bird's eye view with the roof peeled off. Elevations show you the vertical side views. Sections cut through a building so you can see what's inside the walls and the floors. Details zoom way in on one component, like a window sill or a slab edge. Then you got schedules, which are like tables, like a door schedule or a window schedule. And finally, you have schematics, which are used for plumbing, electrical, and mechanical to show the system layouts. Each one gives you a different piece of the puzzle. So let's move on. Now let's talk about the different symbols that you'll see on drawings. And I've highlighted 12 that I think that you need to know. So let's go over them right now. So we talked about section references or section cuts. This is the symbol that you'll see indicating a section cut. So this symbol shows you where the vertical slice has been taken through the building, and it points to a detailed section drawing that reveals what's inside the wall or the floor or the ceiling along that line. And somewhat the same, you have a detail call out, is what it's called. This symbol marks a zoomed in view of a small construction element like a wall joint or a footing, and it guides you to a detailed drawing with precise dimensions and material notes. This diamond here is a wall tag, and it identifies a specific wall type used in the drawing. It typically references a wall legend or a key that describes the material, thickness, and construction method. And this little bullseye is called an elevation mark. An elevation datum is a reference symbol that indicates the vertical measurement from a known point. It's usually at sea level or finished floor, and it's used to track heights of floors, ceilings, or other elements. This symbol indicates where to find a drawing that shows the exterior face of a building, and it helps to visualize the materials, window placement, and overall height of the building. An interior elevation symbol points to the drawing of a vertical wall surface inside a building, and it shows things like the cabinetry, tile patterns, outlet locations, and other interior features. Then you have a room name tag. We'll talk about tags. So the room name tag labels each space on the floor plan, and it may include a room number, a use of the room, like if it's an office or a classroom, and sometimes it even has the area in square feet. Now, a door tag identifies each door on the plan with a number or a code that links to a door schedule. It helps you find size, type, material, and hardware details. Then you have a keynote. A keynote symbol references a numbered note that explains the construction item or instruction. These notes are typically listed in the sheet's legend or in the general notes section. A material keynote. Similar to a keynote, this symbol refers specifically to a note about a material, such as gypsum wallboard or GWB. It's usually listed in a material legend. Now, the spot elevation is similar to something we've already seen, but the spot elevation symbol shows the exact vertical height at a specific point on the plan, like a slab corner or the top of a curb. This is essential for grading and layout. The north arrow shows the orientation of the drawing in relations to a true or project north, and it helps align the plan with a real-world direction and site layout. A lot of folks get tripped up on these symbols, but they're not complicated once you learn the language. For example, the section cut looks like an arrow or a circle with a number or letter. That tells you, hey, go look at the detail A on sheet 3. Elevation markers, door tags, and wall types, all of them work a little bit like a signpost, pointing you to more information. So one of the key components to getting comfortable with reading plans is getting comfortable with the legend and how these tags connect to different parts of the plan set. So once you get into drawings, you'll notice that materials are shown using patterns, and these are all standard. So for instance, little specks with, small triangles is the best way to explain it. That is indicative of concrete. Masonry, for instance, looks like a brick pattern. And batt insulation or insulation that goes in a wall has a jagged look. So these are a quick visual shorthand so you don't have to read the text every time. These hatches are used in plans, sections, and details. So once you recognize them, you'll move through the drawings way faster. So here are some key blueprint terms to know, and they'll come in abbreviations. So let's get familiar with those. NTS, for instance, means not to scale. So don't try to measure this. FFL means finished floor level. That is the elevation above sea level. T.O. Steel means top of steel. Now T.O. could also be top of wall or top of deck, could be top of anything. NIC stands for not in contract. This is something that if you are doing a renovation, this would mean that this area is not to be touched in this project. So these abbreviations show up all over the drawings. It's worth taking time to memorize them, and they'll save you confusion on the job site and during takeoffs. So here's the deal. The more time you spend with plans, the more confident you'll get. But here are a few habits that help. Zoom in on the plans to understand the detail, but then zoom back out to see how it fits into the big picture. Have a highlighter handy or a markup tool if you're using Bluebeam. Oh, and the number one thing, always check the scale. Check the sheet number, check the revision cloud. Revisions means that these drawings have been updated, and When something is changed on a drawing that wasn't on a previous drawing, the architect normally clouds them. So that's what I mean by a revision cloud. So now that you know all that and you're ready to move through a set of plans, here's what I would do. Start with the title sheet. It tells you what's all included. Next, go to the legend and get familiar with symbols and line types. Then jump to the site plan and the floor plan to get the big picture. From there, follow the callouts to the sections, elevations, and the details. And don't forget the schedules. That's where you're going to find specific information about the floors, finishes, fixtures, and so on. If you found this helpful and want to keep learning, make sure that you print out the downloadable PDFs that I have of some cheat sheet information that you can use when you're looking at drawings. Now I think we're ready to get into some real plans and go through those. So on to the next one.